That's 15. Let's go. Get to some pulls. Holy shit. YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day. We just got done tying our shoes. We're on the ground with you. We're going to meet you at level. It's a little dark. I don't know. Hopefully that camera lights up a little bit and we get a little bit better lighting today. But we just finished up some BP in Maple Grove, so we're in Maple Grove Lifetime. First time here. It's a pretty bougie gym here. And we're going to expose Maple Grove to some Yoakum strength and Olympic lifting today. So we got some new warm-ups. I'll show those right away after the intro. Then we got some quad broad jumps. We're feeling pretty poppy on those. We hit two of our 5 sets there, and then we got some cleans. We got the stop, drop, and roll cleans. Hopefully building up to something heavy today, and then we got some clean pulls and continue to build up that pulling strength. We had some league night last night, and we were gripping and ripping the ball. We were 6 for 6 last night. We got 2 dubs. Pretty simple. We got league again tonight, which is why we're at Maple Grove. Finished up BP, smacking the ball there, going straight to lift here, and then we're going straight to league right away after in Elk River, which is kind of near Maple Grove. It's better than going all the way back home. Then after leave, we got game 2 of the Timberwolves, hopefully crushing the Lakers, and it's going to be a pretty sickening day. So let's get after it. Let's go. So the 2 little warm-ups we got today are these Kang Zercher squats. Good mornings here. So we're coming down into a squat position here, right here, nice in this Zercher, and then we're opening up the hips, flexing the hamstrings, and reaching that butt towards the sky here. And we just got 10 flossing back and forth. These feel really, really nice for the hips, and the hamstrings just opening up a little bit more. And I like these. So I'm gonna rip 10 of these. Then I'll show you our second warm-up. That feels spicy on that lower back. Then we got 1 arm barbell windmill side bend type things. I'm going to show you these. I think I'm going to raise the camera here a little bit to get that angle here. All about the angles here. And on these, just single arm press into this side bend here position. Really like this for the little bit of shoulder mobility, warming up the spine, feeling nice and light. We got 5 of them each side. Oh yeah, open up that shoulder. Oh, that's one I should probably definitely load up, because on this left arm, I'm getting fucking absolutely exposed on that shoulder stability here. Oh. 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 Ooh, there we go. All right, then we got some quad broad jumps. Show those next, let's get it. And then on these quad broad jumps, we got 2 more sets of these. Goal is to rip it past that GHR. That's our current PR. We got 2 more rounds to do it. Let's rip. Ooh, let's go. Kind of liking going straight from BP to this. Usually I ate a couple snacks. Usually I'm feeling pretty dead after BP, but pretty light day of BP, and now I'm feeling like we're cooking. I'm able to pull something strong today. Let's go. Ooh, let's go. All right, then we got week 3 of this barbell kind of front rack position warm-up that we've been working on. I was going to skip it because I've shown it twice, but I think there's a little bit of power in showing some of the boredom and repetition that is required to get good at something, right? There's nothing that drives me more fucking insane than these people coming up and asking questions about softball. Not in the sense that they're asking questions or interested in getting better at softball, but it's like the answer is always the same. You just need to go swing and hit the ball more and do more BP and practice more like that. That's the answer at the end of the day, right? There's going to be no simple fix that we can fix it in tournament. It's always in tournament. They have a bad swing. You're like, what can I do to change my swing? It's like, go take 10,000 more cuts during the week before we get to the tournament, right? The tournament's just time to turn your brain off and go. Give me nothing you can do to fix it at that point. And I think the same thing applies to these older lifts, right? If you want to get a better front rack, it doesn't just happen, right? It's just a rep thing. You just got to continually rep it. And those reps get boring. Those reps get repetitive. And you can spice it up. You can find a bunch of different variations. But you just, at the end of the day, you just got to find a way that works for you to get those reps in. And if you don't get those reps in, it doesn't fucking matter. So we're going to get those reps in. Let's go. Let's go. And on that little repetition rant, I think that's why it's so important to not fake enjoying things and not fake pursuing things that you don't actually enjoy. Because if you don't actually fucking love something, man, you're not going to pursue it in the way that you need to pursue it. And as soon as it gets harder, you're going to fucking quit and you're going to find all the excuses, man. I absolutely live and breathe and love softball. And there are days where I'm BPing, and this is something that I absolutely love. There are days where I BP where I want to fucking kill myself. And it's a fucking grind to be out there doing something I absolutely love. But the work required to love it and then to reach the level that I want to reach in it requires you to show up and then put in work on those days where it's not totally enjoyable. And again, this is something that I absolutely enjoy and love and want to pursue with my full entire passion, right? And I just feel like so many people pursue tasks that they were told to be interested in, or they kind of pretend to like or pretend to love, and dude, you're just not going to make it that way. You gotta find the thing that you love first. You gotta find the thing that you want to pursue, and it doesn't matter how fucking weird it is. It doesn't matter how silly it is. If you don't have that passion for it, and it's something less silly or less goofy or less niche, you're not going to reach the level that you want to reach anyways. Whereas if you just pursue something that you're actually fully passionate about, you will reach levels that allow you to reach escape velocity within that niche and actually pursue mastery. And I do not believe the task that you're pursuing mastery in matters. I believe the actual pursuit of mastery matters, and the pursuit of perfection. And there's something meditative about that, and there's something that you find peace in your soul when you're doing that, and when you know you're on the right path when you're doing those things. But you cannot reach that path. You cannot force yourself to walk down that path to the level that you need to walk down that path to find that peace, to find that meditation, to feel like you are on the path, right? And I just college athletics is probably one of the worst with it, where you just have a bunch of kids that don't actually love the thing that they're pursuing, and they kind of half-ass pursue it, and it just does not work, and you just wasting time on this earth. And I do not believe you should be wasting time on this earth. Find a thing you're truly passionate about. Doesn't matter how silly it is, doesn't matter how many people question why you're pursuing that thing. Just go pursue it because you fucking love it, and through that pursuit you will find mastery and you will find peace. And from there you can do anything when you have those two things, when you have this skill set of pursuing mastery and pursuing perfection, and you have the peace within yourself to know you are on the path. And those two things are irreplaceable, right? So we got 8 reps here at 235 every minute on the minute with the stop, drop, and roll cleans, and then we got 7 open sets from there. So let's rip, let's get after it. I'm an idiot. I put 185 on one side. What am I doing? What am I doing? No better way to ruin a motivational speech just like that. Let's go. There we go. Catch a little higher, dummy. Sloppy. Better. I am instantly regretting saying that I'm happy that I went to lift right away after softball, because body, the juice is lacking a little bit today. We gotta dial in. This bar is feeling like it's light, but the drive there on that stick is not there. We gotta lock in. Oof, there we go. All right, last rip right this way. Then we got 7 open sets, building up to something heavy. Let's go. Everything on these is feeling really clean and really light. Other than the catch, my back is so fucking sore from softball and rotating that left side is locking up on me. So that's going to be the limiting factor. But if we power through that, things are going to feel good today. Let's go. All right, got to catch this a little bit higher. This is set number 12. 315 will be 13. And then anything after that will be 14, 15. We got to get the 15 reps. So probably overshot a little bit too quickly on these on this weight. But even if we put a 2.5, I mean, we got to get 315 first. So we got to get this first. So let's get after it. But I got to catch it a little bit higher so I can get that bounce and rip. Being a little bit of a coward on that catch because of the back. The bar's feeling good. Just got to lock in a little bit. Let's go. Ooh. Woo. A little sloppy. All right, let's get this 315. Let's find peace in the work. Let's get after it. Let's go. Ooh. God damn. God, I keep watching it back on camera, and it looks smooth on camera, looks buttery on camera, but it feels about like an RP12 right now. So it's nice to have that camera feedback to know I'm just being a little bitch right now, but I had two of those like pre-made PB&Js, you know, like in the plastic bags at the gas station, and I'm feeling those running through my system right now. We're gonna have to take a little potty break in a little bit, but want to finish up these cleans before we get to that point. Probably, we'll see how this feels. If this is good, we'll add another set. If not, we'll end here and rip. Let's go. Pretty good work day. Let's get it. Oh yeah, that was lightweight. One more set. Woo, come on, get this shit up. Let's go. Oh, woo. That's 15. Let's go. Get to some pulls. Holy shit. All right, we expelled the PB&Js, the pre-made PB&Js from the system, and the stomach is feeling much better here. That was a pretty sickening clean day. Felt like there was very little juice, very little pop, and everything was feeling light. I just wasn't able to stick that position and feel super strong, but it's nice on weekdays, on days when you're feeling like shit, to be able to hit old PRs. So I really like the progress we're making right now, and everything's feeling pretty buttery. We got 4 sets of 3 of these low-hang clean pulls. Same thing we've been kind of building up and ripping. We're going a little bit heavier day. We got 2 sets of 335 at 2 sets of 3, and then we'll add probably at 5 and put us at 345, 350-ish for 2 sets of 3, seeing how those feel. But these have been building up and feeling really strong, so we're going to continue to build that up. And it's really helping the clean pull. And the pull on the clean has been feeling so much lighter. That used to be the thing that was like pretty intimidating. Now it's more the catch and being able to catch it higher instead of crashing into that bottom position. And then that's obviously about working on that rebound clean, and I'll probably do a little bit more powers, right? But to provide some value instead of just yapping about my training here and doing some fake motivational bullshit. I got the question asking about do you ever experience small strains or pulls or feel hurt when you're training? And the answer is yes. And this is one of the things that I feel like we have done one of the biggest disservice in our field, is kind of lying about how you're supposed to feel when you're pursuing high performance, right? And I've caught myself in this cycle many times, especially when I was in college. And I was training for so long to where, and I was beat up, and I was for sure training like an idiot. Now I was pushing it to the absolute opposite extreme. The answer to that opposite extreme was people pulling me all the way into this very helicopter parent training methodology and philosophy, to where we talk about how you're not supposed to ever feel beat up. You're supposed to feel good the whole time when you're training. You're never supposed to feel hurt. You're never supposed to feel pain. And truly, I do believe that is bullshit. Unless you are an absolute 1%er of a 1%er, and even those athletes, when they play other 1%ers of 1%ers, they're pushing their bodies to the absolute max ability. They're going to feel beat up too. But in training, you're going to feel beat up. You're going to feel hurt sometimes. You're going to feel like not 100%. And the best remedy to this is just to understand that is okay, and that is a part of the training process. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean you're pushing yourself too hard. Obviously, if you have massive injuries and you can't stay on the field and you can't stay healthy at all, there's an issue there. I just feel like we've pulled it into this extreme where we lie to them about high performance, and the correct strength conditioning program is supposed to have you feeling like $1 million at all time. And then the answer is, if you're feeling like $1 million all the time, it probably means you're just not training very hard. And if you're not very good and you're not starting and you're not training very hard, you're not going to make any progress, right? And that's really nobody's goal. Nobody's goal is to feel 100% and feel totally healthy on the bench, right? Like when you're training to be an athlete, when you're training for performance, your goal is to succeed on the field, reach your PRs, push your body past the limit of where it's currently at. And again, there are smarter and dumber ways to do this, but there is no way in which you do this in which you're feeling 1,000,000% all the time. The best I've ever felt in training is when I'm making the smallest amount of progress I've ever made, right? And especially in college, like I've caught myself in those cycles where I was like, oh, I'm training correct because I'm feeling good on the field. And by the time I got to the playoffs, I was just a fucking absolute shell of myself and 20 pounds less. And although I felt healthy in quotations, I was shit on the field, and I felt like shit on the field. And it's just not the goal of a high performance program, right? So do I ever feel like I pulled something? Do I ever feel like I have small strains? All the time. And that's okay. And once you understand it's okay, you get rid of the stressor. And this is where I really believe, like, a lot of the stress we put on ourselves with these injuries in quotations, with this pain in quotations, with this hurt in quotations, does more damage than any of the actual hurt and pain in and of itself. You just understand that it's okay, and it's part of a good training process, and that it's going to happen, and that you're going to heal from it, and that you'll bounce back within the next day or two. Then you just approach training in a much different light. It's much more freeing, and you save yourself a shitload of stress, right? So if you're pursuing something at a high level and you're trying to be a 1% over 1%, you're not going to feel the best all the time, and that's okay, and that's a part of training. And the more we accept that, and less we stress ourselves out about that, the more we get back to training, the more we get back to pursuing what we want to pursue. And honestly, the less pain you actually feel, because the less neurotic you become overcome about that pain. And you just understand it's a part of the process rather than a massive red flag in what you're doing. And for me, that is incredibly powerful. And for a lot of my athletes, it's incredibly powerful. And I just think we've lied to athletes pretending like we have this magic holy water for them. Again, I'm not talking about massive injuries. I'm not talking about herniated disc. I'm not talking about tearing your ACL or breaking your ankle. Just talking about those small tweaks where you don't feel the best the next day and you feel like you messed something up. You probably didn't mess something up. You probably just pushed the limit your body needed to be pushed to reach the level that you want to reach. And that's okay, and that's a part of training, and you'll probably bounce back within a day or two, and that's okay. Right, so just go to get after your training, let's go. 4 sets of 3 here. Let's go. And I think it's worth mentioning on that last little rant that there are times and places where you want to feel beat up, I should say. If it's your playoffs, if it's your main games, the championship game, big games like that, that's probably where you do want to feel good and not beat up all the time. I just think we take that in-season approach, we take that championship approach and apply it to all 52 weeks of the year. When I think we should really think about it just like investing, right? Like when you invest in something, take money out of your bank account that you don't have right now, you take the hit right away. Don't have that money and maybe you're not feeling good about having that money so that by the end of the year you have more money and you can get that money back and your bank account grows, right? And I think it's the same thing in training. When you're in the off season, that is the time to invest. That is the time to take the money out of your bank account and not feel the best about it and wish you had that money back so that when you get to those big games, when you get to the end of the year, you have more money in your bank account. Your body has more abilities to draw upon. And as simple of a strength conditioning principle as that is, and it's pretty much the basic strength conditioning principle. Stress the body to cause an adaptation, and that stress is going to cause fatigue, hurt, and pain. I think we've gotten totally far away from that to where we're never taking that investment out. We're never actually investing in something. We're just kind of feeling good all day, every day. We're just kind of sitting in that middle ground, right? So take that money out of that bank account, invest it in something. Don't feel great all the time so that when you get to those big games, when you get to that championship game, when you get to the end season, you can feel like $1 million and you can get all of that return on the investment that you wanted to, right? So we added 5 pounds here. If there is something that has grown more than anything, it is this clean pull. I feel really, really good about these. These felt like shit when we first started doing them probably like 6 weeks ago. And now we're adding weight to these sets of 3 and it's feeling like money. So let's keep building these up. Let's go. Let's go. 2 more sets here. I really want to stay a little bit more vertical on my initial pull. My butt starts to hike up when it gets to heavy. I do it in cleans as well. It's just my lower back's not strong enough yet on these pulls. And we just got to build that up. These are feeling spicy after that initial pull off the ground. So if I can get that initial pull just a little bit more vertical, keep that chest rising with the hips rather than hips shooting up. I'm gonna say that, and the fucking hips are probably gonna shoot up right away because I'm a weak little bitch. That'd be sickening for my actual clean. But we got 355, which is what KDOT wants us to max out on here. 2 more sets, so let's get after it. Let's go. Oh yeah, that felt nice. Let's go. All right, last set here. The goal next year by this time is going to be able to clean this instead of having to do low pulls with that. So that'll be a sickening little progress here. Keep turning our max high pulls into a actual clean set. So as our high pulls go up, we just got to keep chasing the cleans after it until we get to 4 or 5, and then that would be sickening. I'd feel like a monster there. Last question I wanted to answer before the end of this video was talking about how much value do I find in twitchy type movements for the CNS. And I think they're referring to some of the higher velocity type stuff you see when you're watching maybe Joel Smith do rapid heel taps, rapid line hops, maybe some of the spinal stuff that we're doing, we're rotating very quick. Dak does a lot of it as well. But I do believe there's a ton of value in the twitch and a ton of value in the high velocity type work, especially for certain joints that never really get exposed to that other than sport in and of itself. Like the spine, like some of the impulse stuff that Dak does, and a lot of the sprint stuff that Joel Smith does. Once you start to touch on these things with your athletes, you'll start to see them move just a little bit quicker, feel just a little bit better. I really like how Joel Smith's talking about this being the feminine side of training. We actually have a presentation live that him and I did together if you want to hear him talk in depth about this stuff. I believe it's on his website still. I was starting to add this stuff in when I was starting to add this stuff in, especially after his Elastics Essentials course. All of my sprint times went up, all of my bounce went up. Really started to feel good. And I think that's a large component of training. And when you have your good athletes try this stuff, they respond super well to it. And I think things that good athletes respond well to is an indicator of a good training modality. Now, the one thing I have to say there is it should be like 5-ish to 10-ish% of your training. I think 90% of your training should be the big meat and potatoes. And I think that's why it gets so washed and shit on when you do some of the feminine stuff, when you do some of that out there stuff, is people think it's your entire training program. And if it was your entire training program, you'd probably have a shitty training program. You'd probably be weak as fuck. You'd probably have no masculine side to yourself to express some of that feminine side. And it needs to be that yin and yang. And without both things working at the same time, you're probably going to turn into a functional patterns type GOATA type athlete. And that's no good, right? So when we look at modalities like this that look a little different, that are not the meat and potatoes of your program, it doesn't mean only eat meat and potatoes, and it doesn't mean salad and fruit are bad. It just means they're salad and fruit and they're add-ons to your meal. You still eat your meat and potatoes, you just add those things in to feel a little bit better or to cover some of your micronutrients, right? Some of the smaller pieces of your training. And I think with all the stuff all of the focus we have in strength conditioning and all these coaches posting content, I think we are allowed to explore some of these micronutrients, these micro training factors, and not just be so stuck in the meat and potatoes. Everybody has the meat and potatoes. If you don't have the meat and potatoes, you're just a GOATA wannabe training page, and everybody with a half a brain knows that's fucking retarded. That doesn't make every training modality that is not straight meat and potatoes retarded. It just makes your use of them. So I do find a lot of value in the twitchy, high velocity type stuff that is not the meat and potatoes of your strength conditioning program. I think you just have to realize that it's just a small part of the program, and it cannot become your entire program. But I think once you find that art of mixing the masculine with the feminine side of training, you really do start to see athletes explode in their performance and in their health and how they feel, and just finding and exploring different parts of the training stimulus that allow them to reach that 1%. And for some athletes, it'll be super effective, and for other athletes, it won't be effective. And again, that doesn't make the training modality worthless because it's not effective for some of the athletes, right? This means that you change course with that athlete and you keep it for the other athletes. I just think a lot of times strength conditioning just turns in this black and white. There's only 4 things to do that really, really matter. And just because the 4 things move 80% of your training program doesn't mean you can't spend a little bit of time doing that other 20% and looking for those other edges in training that could affect an athlete, that could benefit an athlete tremendously. And then I've seen that in strength conditioning program, and I just know so many meatheads that kind of restrict themselves for no other reason other than they don't want to look goofy, or they don't want to implement anything that isn't completely structured. And so they just keep doing the same things over and over and over again and pretend it's not a survivorship bias with the athletes that they have, right? Just keep the 5 to 10% of your training, explore some of these things, play around with some of these things. If they work, keep them. If they don't, throw them out. And it's as simple as that. You don't have to drink the full Kool-Aid, and you don't have to throw all the Kool-Aid out, all right? So let's get this last set. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Woo. All right, that's a hell of a day. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.